In today's video, we are going to be putting together 4 10-minute dinners. Given the time of being quarantined and in the house with my 2 children, I thought this was the perfect time to put this video together to show you guys that legitimately in 10 minutes you can throw together something that's healthy and nourishing for you and your entire family. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Jessica, and here on my channel we focus on all things mom life, whether that's cooking or cleaning or finding easy ways to make your family eat healthy and live a more natural lifestyle. But everything we do here in this space does have a bit of a healthy twist, as I am a holistic nutritionist and a nutritional practitioner. So if that sounds like something that you might be interested in, I would love it if you take 2 seconds, open up the description box down below and hit the big red subscribe button. That way you don't miss a single video. All right, let's jump into the kitchen and get cooking these delicious, easy, and healthy 10-minute dinners. We're going to get started with a veggie loaded pasta salad. I love to make these, especially when we have warmer days, but here in Michigan where I live, they're few and far between, but it's such a yummy, refreshing way to eat your vegetables that's just a little bit different than a regular salad. So I'm gonna go ahead and chop up all of the vegetables that I have in our refrigerator. Some of these things are the staples that I always include in this pasta salad. Some of the things are substitutions because of the current situation and not running to the grocery store as frequently, but everything is so delicious. So for all of the recipes that I'm sharing with you guys today, be sure to open up the description box down below, hit that expand arrow, and you'll see all of the ingredients and instructions for everything that I share with you today. Now, I've shared this over and over again, but whenever I cook pasta or grains or soups or any dried beans or lentils, I always use kombu in the broth. So kombu is known for reducing blood cholesterol, hypertension. It's extremely high in iodine, which is why I love it, which is essential for our thyroid function. It's really high in iron, which we all know helps to carry oxygen to our actual cells. Then it's also a rich source of calcium, which helps build our bones and our teeth, as well as a rich source of vitamin A and C, which we know is wonderful antioxidants that support our eyes and immunity. Also, kombu is 100% edible. You'll see later on in the video, I do remove it, but you can chop it up and even include it in this salad if you choose to do so. Also, it's just a wonderful thing to use into any soups or stews or any rice dishes that you're preparing. It's such a great nutritional bundle, given the fact that it's filled with so many useful minerals and vitamins. So I would highly encourage you to consider giving it a try, especially in this recipe. So when I mentioned earlier on in the video about substitutions, I do typically include purple cabbage in this recipe, but we did have Napa cabbage, which I included here. It was equally as delicious. I like the purple cabbage for the extra antioxidants, for the color. It's actually my son's favorite vegetable. He loves to eat purple cabbage. But again, we didn't have access to any organic purple cabbage in the midst of all of the crisis that's happening at the grocery store. Also, many of times I will substitute cilantro instead of parsley, but I am using parsley in the recipe today. finally finish letting the pasta cool, it's time to throw together the dressing. This is so easy to whip together. Again, you will see a substitution. I typically use olive oil, and we had just run out of olive oil, so I'm using avocado oil and rice vinegar instead of red wine vinegar. Again, these recipes are all using what you have in your home right now and making it work for you. Then I'm going to be adding in some organic spices like oregano, some garlic, some onion, Italian seasoning, and I do even add a little bit of red pepper flakes at the very end. But all of these just really are mild, delicious, and bring out the flavor. And then to get a little bit more iodine in there, I'm tossing in about a tablespoon of kelp. After adding the dressing to the salad, I do like to let this sit in the refrigerator for 1 to 2 hours before consuming. It's just a personal preference, but you can eat it immediately as is. I like to enjoy this recipe as is, but if you're looking to bulk it up or add in some extra protein, I don't think I mentioned that these were quinoa and brown rice gluten-free noodles, but if you want more protein, like animal protein, you could put it over a bed of arugula or spinach or kale and put on some pre-sliced chicken breast. I had just baked these and they were already in our refrigerator. Up next, we have what I call my clouds of green soup, and I'm really not sure how it got this name, but I've been calling it this for years, and so we're gonna stick with it. But for this recipe, you're gonna need some potatoes, leeks, garlic, onion, ginger, and a whole bunch of spinach. I've also made this with kale as well, but I do notice that kale does give it a bit more of a bitter taste, where you can add a whole bunch of spinach and it doesn't really change the taste too much. So we are making this one in the Instant Pot, so it truly is such a quick and easy recipe to throw together because, well, everything is instant. I'm peeling my ginger, and if you don't peel your ginger with a spoon, I would highly encourage you to do so. It is so easy. Some ginger, some garlic, the onions, the leeks are all going to go in the Instant Pot with some avocado oil, and I'm going to saute that in there. So then while I'm sauteing that, I will go ahead and get started chopping my potatoes before I mix all of the ingredients together. So once everything is nice and brown, I'm going to add in all of my seasonings. We've got the kelp flakes, we've got garlic, onion, some fresh ground black pepper, some sea salt, some Himalayan salt, and then we're gonna add in some stock. I typically like to use the Trader Joe's chicken bone broth, but the lines sticking into Trader Joe's have been crazy long, and my family, we just don't feel like it's worth the risk right now. So we did have this stock in hand from Costco. It tasted really well, so it was perfectly fine. I cook that on high for 8 minutes, and then I add in 1 full cup of white beans and what would be equivalent to 5 cups of spinach. And I mix that all together, and because these beans are already cooked and I don't really want to cook the spinach, I just want to wilt it down, I'm going to stir that in for just around a minute to let everything fully combine before I go in with my immersion blender. As you probably noticed earlier in the video, that the spinach was definitely on its last leg, which is why I chose to use it in this recipe. But if it is fresh, it will give it such a bright, vibrant green color. Then once I'm ready to serve it, I will scoop a dollop of coconut yogurt on there with some hemp seeds and some freshly cracked pepper. Now, just because something is a 10-minute dinner doesn't mean it has to be completely from scratch. This Mexican blend quinoa that we get from Costco is delicious. I love to cook it up with some homemade black beans that I make in the Instant Pot and some organic ground beef. I do tend to prefer to use grass-fed beef, but I hadn't had the time to de-thaw one of those, so we're just using a packet of organic ground beef from Costco. Additionally, you'll see that you can eat this in a couple of different ways, but it's mainly about throwing these ingredients together and having them on hand to whip up if you're feeling stuck or unsure of what to cook. Now, of course, it doesn't have to be this exact mix from Costco. I did just want to show you that you can create these recipes with things you have on hand. I'm adding about 2 cups of rice cauliflower to my ground beef. I always add rice cauliflower, frozen rice cauliflower that is, when I'm cooking ground beef. And most of the time I also add lentils, but I didn't have any already pre-cooked. Then I'm adding in the Primal Kitchen's taco seasoning. You've heard me rave about this, and so many of you are absolutely obsessed with it as well. It is so flavorful. You don't need to use as much of it, and it gives such a smoky and delicious flavor. I'm going to be adding in some onion and garlic. I'm going to brown up the meat before I go ahead and add in the pre-cooked quinoa mix from Costco. This recipe is so easy and flavorful to throw together on those nights you're feeling stuck and wish you could order takeout. And one of my favorite ways to enjoy it is over a bed of arugula or inside of a pre-cooked sweet potato. I like to pre-cook these in the Instant Pot to have on hand for things like this. I'll slice it open and add in a few slices of avocado, and it's the absolute perfect dinner for me. Now moving into a salmon and kale salad. I have been craving a salad like this for weeks. This is one of my favorite dishes that I get at one of the restaurants that we dine at frequently, so I was trying to recreate it here at home. I'm taking some peppers, some carrots, some kale, and some parsley, and I'm really chopping everything very finely as far as the vegetables go, because that's how the salad that I get at the restaurant is. Meanwhile, I'm going to pull out our wild-caught salmon and set it on the stove top to bring it to room temperature before we begin to cook it. Once I've pre-chopped all of my vegetables and my absolute favorite food processor that my best girlfriend got for me, I'm going to go ahead and throw that together with this kale and then some parsley. Keep you in my heart is where you are. I still think of you, I want you coming back. I remember when we were staring a photo. Don't forget the way you look me in the eyes. Then I'm going to be adding in some red onion for a little bit of an extra bite and some raw garlic into the salad, and a whole bunch of raw garlic into the dressing and on top of the actual salmon. Pre-pandemic, I would always buy the organic pre-chopped and pre-peeled garlic at Whole Foods, but my girlfriend told me about the garlic from Costco, and it is such a great value. But I always joke that this is the most thankless job that anybody could ever have, is peeling and chopping garlic. But I'm going to be using that same little food processor again, which makes it super simple and easy. And you can see I've saved a little bit of the garlic, 1 or 2 cloves, to put in the salad dressing. And make sure that you check out the description box down below for all of the exact measurements, ingredients, and steps for putting these recipes together that I'm sharing with you guys today. Kai is actually going to be cooking the fish for me. He has out all of his spices, and you can see it's coming together beautifully. This is such an easy and simple dinner. The kids love it. We loved it. It's nourishing. It's healthy. It's something that you can throw together in 10 minutes and feel good about that you had a wonderful and healthy home-cooked meal. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and if you liked this video, you can let me know by giving it a big thumbs up. It means a lot to me and to the YouTube algorithm. And now the subscribe button is right over here on the screen. Be sure to hit that so you don't miss a single video, and I hope to see you back here next Thursday.